Are you questioning what style of sports you should put your children into? If so, this video is for you. There are two types of sports that I guide a lot of parents towards to get their kids into at an early age in order for them to be able to thrive later in life with both in sports, in high school, in college, and just in general receive overall athleticism, psychological capability, and emotional stability. And I'll get to those specific three things later in this video. The first thing I want to jump into is that parents that have not played sports, and especially at a high level or known or worked with professional athletes, a lot of them are kind of running blind as to parenting and guiding their children into typically what the children's passions are. But the fact is that most children don't know what their passion is until they're actually doing something. So the parent needs to be able to guide them in the right direction, give them options if they can afford it, and if they have the knowledge in order to do so, and if they live in an environment where those options are available. So the first thing I want to jump into is there's two different types of categories of sports: contact and non-contact. And within those, there's team sports and there's individual sports. So, jumping into contact sport recommendations, contact sport specifically, if you are trying to thrive in a contact sport, either as an adult or guiding your child into something where you know they have potential, or in general, you just want them to live in your footsteps and be able to be an amazing athlete in a contact sport like football or rugby, what I recommend doing is don't year round put them in a ton of contact sports that are team based. Put them in one. So there's rugby, there's lacrosse, which is sort of contact, there's obviously American football. And then pairing that with a individualistic sport where you are on your own and having to problem solve on your own to get out of a situation, again, in a contact sport. And those sports would be wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, a lot of individualistic sports. And those are extremely good for multiple reasons as well, psychologically, emotionally, and just as a physical characteristic of being able to handle anything life throws at you physiologically. And whether you win or lose, be able to emotionally take responsibility for yourself with the loss or the win. It builds character either way. So jumping into non-contact sports, if you're wanting to guide your child to something non-contact and that would be able to keep them, let's say, a little bit more protected, if you're a little bit more conservative with your child and you don't want them having head injuries or anything like that, which is totally understandable, guide them into team sports like baseball, like soccer, and then a couple individual sports that they can jump into is something like tennis or golf, where they're on their own, they're having to use precision and problem solving capability in order to on their own make decisions that will get them the win. And same thing, there's a lot of emotional, physical, and psychological repercussions for getting into non-contact sports, just like contact sports. So why would a child be guided into these different things? So starting with team sports, the fact is that when you are in a family, in the military, where you have brothers and sisters around you fighting in combat, and also if you are in a physical sport with a team, especially a contact sport, because I grew up playing football, I played Division I rugby at Bowling Green State University. It helped me tremendously being able to understand bonding with other men. It helped me understand how to trust and be loyal to a team and to your teammates. And rivalry is a very good thing, I think, in today's society, because society is dimming down the competitive nature of men, and that is the way, in my opinion, God made them. So growing in communication is another thing psychologically, where you're actually having to, in the midst of a battle on the field, on the court, you are needing to actually make decisions in the middle of the heat of things with your teammates, call a play, run a play, um, shift a play to something else in order to, make it in the hoop, shoot it in the goal, or whatever it is. Those things are amazing problem solving capabilities that are needed way later in life, especially when they reach adulthood in the real world, especially, if they're wanting to become an entrepreneur, or even in the corporate world. They're needing to be able to work with a team and work with them, trust their boss, trust their team captain, like in the sport. And then the individual sport, this is the thing that I missed out on. My parents are absolutely amazing, no complaints about who they are as people, but they just didn't know, and that's why I'm talking to you guys now. I didn't get put into a individual contact sport, and that's something I regret because of the capacity to problem solve at a blink of an eye, because you're going one on one with another person who is trying to win, and all the responsibility is on you. Yes, you have teammates that are also competing, like in wrestling. You have a team and you're wanting to win points in a team match, but you're on the mat on your own. You also have a coach, and that coach can teach you, and maybe they didn't teach you well. That might be why you lost. But in the end, it is really up to you. It is on the child, it is on you, the parent or the adult, whoever is the one competing on the mat, that is needing to get the W and push as hard as they possibly can to win that match, win that game, whatever it is. So being able to grow willpower and discipline in order to know that you yourself will step on that mat, and with the blood, sweat, and tears that you did for the months or years leading up to that match, that game, whatever it is, you have to take responsibility for that. And going into adulthood, it is so critical that people recognize that, because in today's society, there's so much victimhood. And that's not real life. Life, even biblically, is promised that we are going to have so much suffering in life. And it's what we make of it. Will you be able to be tossed down, trampled on, and get back up, go after it again, fall back down, get back up, go after it again, get a win, and then fall, get trampled on, and then get back up? You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses in life, in business, in family. And if you can be taught that at a young age in sports, it is amazing how I've seen young athletes excel in life later in life because of these dynamics within individualistic sports. There is one stat in existence for Navy SEAL training, the BUDS program. The one stat is that Division I wrestlers have a higher percentage of being able to make it through BUDS training to become a Navy SEAL in the Navy, in the United States military. That's because they have had to undergo so much suffering in practice and in their matches. And it's very similar to Navy SEAL training. So even if you have a child that wants to be in the military, put them in individual contact sports and also a team sport, because you are obviously working with a team, with a unit, with a platoon in order to accomplish a mission. So to recap, one team sport, one individual sport. If you want non-contact, pick one of each. That is non-contact. If you need a contact sport, go with a team contact and a individual contact sport. So I really hope this helps you, because this is some guidance that, again, I've given many young parents that have specifically young boys that are looking to be good athletes. And a couple that I can think of right off the bat, I've taught in some wrestling classes a few years ago with a buddy of mine who was a phenomenal wrestler at Michigan State University. And one of these young boys, who was probably about 8 years old, his parents, who I was talking to, they just wanted guidance, and they knew that I had experience training professional athletes, and I guided them with the exact same guidance and consulting that I just gave you guys here in this video. So if you think this helps, if you're a parent, please comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video with other people, because I would love to know if this is beneficial. And I just appreciate you guys watching this video. Videos are coming out every single Tuesday and Saturday here at the Eric Tembrink YouTube channel. Love you guys as always. Appreciate your time, and I hope this helped. Peace.